and known existed. There were years of built-up anger and jealousy that, apparently, had exploded in that moment. She confessed later that she had always wanted to control my life, to mold it the way she thought was best. And when I had my own baby, she felt threatened, out of control. It was as though she couldn't bear to see me being a mother. Her love for me had turned into something twisted, something dark and destructive. I couldn't process it. I couldn't understand it. All I knew was that I had to protect my daughter. My relationship with my mother was never the same after that day. It was like a switch had been flipped, and I could never go back to the way things were before. Trust had been shattered, and there was no repairing it. I was left to pick up the pieces of a broken family, all while raising my newborn daughter, who thankfully was safe. I tell you this story not because I want sympathy, but because I want to remind you of how fragile relationships can be and how important it is to recognize toxic behavior before it's too late. No one should ever experience what I went through, and it took me years to fully comprehend the depth of my mother's issues. To this day, I keep my distance. I focus on my daughter, on creating a healthy environment for her, and on rebuilding the trust that was shattered that day. It's not easy, but I know it's worth it, because nothing is more important than protecting the ones we love. If you've ever had an experience that shook you to your core, leave a comment below. I want to hear your story because we all go through struggles, but together we can find the strength to move forward. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like this video if you found it eye-opening, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Thanks for listening, and stay strong no matter what life throws your way. Have you ever experienced a moment so shocking that it makes your heart freeze, leaving you speechless and unsure of what to do next? Well, in today's video, I'm going to take you through one of the most unimaginable, heart-wrenching experiences of my life. It all started at what should have been one of the happiest days of my life, my baby shower. But instead of smiles, laughter, and excitement, I was left standing in pure disbelief as my mother did the unthinkable. She threw my newborn into the fire. You heard that right. A moment that changed everything, and in the blink of an eye, my world was turned upside down. Stick around, because this is a story you won't believe until you hear it with your own ears. But before we dive into this shocking tale, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment below. Trust me, you'll want to stay tuned for every jaw-dropping twist that comes next. I can still feel the excitement of that day, like it was just yesterday. My baby shower was supposed to be the happiest celebration, full of love and anticipation for the new life that was about to join my world. The preparations were perfect. The decorations, the food, the gifts stacked high, and all my closest friends and family gathered together to celebrate my baby. It was everything I had dreamed of. My mom, of course, was there. She was the one who had helped plan it all, her excitement overflowing as she looked forward to becoming a grandmother. But as I said, things didn't go as planned. From the moment I arrived, everything felt off. At first, I couldn't quite place it. There were the smiles, the laughs, but there was something in the air, something heavy. My mom was acting strangely, almost as though she was trying to hold back some deep secret. I chalked it up to nerves, figuring it was just the overwhelming feeling of becoming a grandmother for the first time. The day progressed, with the usual baby shower games and people crowding around me, all wanting to be part of the joy. I should have been basking in the glow of this momentous occasion, but my mind kept drifting back to my mom. She was acting so strange, staring at me with a look I'd never seen before, a mix of anger, frustration, and something far darker. Then it happened. I was standing near the center of the room, holding my newborn daughter, glowing with pride and joy. She was wrapped up in a soft pink blanket, a tiny, perfect little bundle. Everyone was admiring her, congratulating me, cooing over the baby. That's when my mom came over, with a forced smile, one that didn't reach her eyes. I'll never forget what she said. "You think you're ready for this? You have no idea what's coming. This isn't the fairy tale you think it is." Her voice was cold, sharp even. I was taken aback, but I tried to brush it off. After all, she was my mom, and I just assumed she was stressed. But deep down, I could feel the tension building. It was like something was simmering under the surface, something I had no control over. Suddenly, without any warning, she reached for my baby, my newborn daughter. The room seemed to freeze, everyone's laughter turning to silence as my mom's hands closed around the baby, pulling her away from me. I was too stunned to speak, watching in complete disbelief as she stepped back, a look of fury crossing her face. I tried to reach for her. "Mom, what are you doing?" But it was too late. With one swift, violent motion, she yanked my baby into her arms and headed toward the fireplace. I couldn't even process what was happening. Everything seemed to move in slow motion. My body was paralyzed, my mind screaming, but my legs wouldn't move. And then, just as quickly as it all started, she held my daughter over the fire, her grip tightening. I screamed. I rushed forward, pushing people out of my way, reaching for my daughter with a desperate cry. My heart was racing, my mind spinning, but somehow I managed to pull her back just in time. Before anything could happen, the fire was crackling, the heat was intense, and I felt as though the world was crashing down around me. The room was dead silent. No one knew how to react. My mom dropped to her knees, tears streaming down her face, as she muttered words I couldn't even begin to comprehend. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself." And that's when everything fell apart. I didn't know what to do. I couldn't even look at her. My mind was a blur of emotions, rage, confusion, fear, and most of all, betrayal. My own mother had just tried to hurt my baby. It felt like an assault on everything I loved and cared about. How could she do this? How could she betray me like this? But what was worse was the aftermath. The more I tried to understand what had happened, the more I learned. My mom had been dealing with some personal struggles that I wasn't aware of, but that still didn't excuse her actions. She had been harboring some deep resentment toward me. Resentment I had never